Hi everyone, it's Sandra here from the Creative Wandering Duo, and I'd like to welcome all the new subscribers. Thank you very much. Welcome to our channel. Anyway, I've had a few questions on the last video I did on the Judy Niemeyer quilt, and I'm still working on that one, so you're going to see some more of that. But some of the questions I've had is, how do I decide what design goes where? How do I do my markings? Where do I measure from? And different things like that. I'm going to try and cover quite a bit of that in this video. And some of the tools that I've created or stolen from somebody else's ideas, and they just work. So I'm going to go through some of that. Now, first thing that I'll do, and I think I've mentioned that to a few of you as you asked your questions, is I get these, what they call page protectors. And I'll take a copy of the quilt pattern or whatever, or the block that I'm working on, and I'll use a dry erasable marker. And this way, I can take and mark on this, and this isn't going to be very stable here, so but anyway, I can mark on this however I want and do my design on there. And then all I do is take a little scrap of batting and I can wash or wipe that off. Sorry, I had to put it down a little lower here so I've got something to rub against. And I can redo it if I don't like what I did. That's saves the trees, number one. And it's an easy way. You can blow up your block to whatever size that your block is in your quilt, and you can work on half of it at a time and then just transfer the other half over. The other thing that I'll use sometimes right on the quilt is I have this piece of plastic, and it rolls out to a fair size. And I've put green painter's tape around the edge. Why? Well, I was doing a customer's quilt, and it was going to be a gift to someone else. And I had it laid out, and she was standing right there, and we were discussing designs. And I was drawing away with my dry erasable marker, and I went right off the edge of the plastic onto the quilt. How do you get that out? I don't know if I ever found out how to get that out or not. Luckily, it was on a block that she had incorrectly placed, and she was deciding whether to redo it or not. Well, that decided it. She took it home and redid that block. That was very fortunate that she had enough fabric to redo that block. And yeah, she was able to correct that. I, after that, put the green tape around so I knew where the edge of my plastic was. But you can lay this out onto your quilt. And I'm going to turn the camera a bit here so you can see what I'm doing. So anyway, I've got this section here, and I hope you can see it all. This section right here comes up, down, up, and around. Oh, this netting, That's from flowers. If you go to your local flower shop, they might be nice enough and give that to you. It's really a great way to hold all your tubes in place. I'm hoping you can see this. Don't think my lights are good enough here. Not sure if that helps or not. But anyway, these pieces, there's a stitching line right here and a stitching line right there. So what am I going to do with this big area? Well, I try and break it down. So what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to come in and there is my mark to make the to make feathers, because feathers fill quite easily. And so I can go around and I'll trace back and come. And then I'll come back up this side. And as long as your feathers are laying at a 45-degree angle along that stem, they're going to look just fine. And if you're scared of stitching your feathers on, make yourself a template out of this plastic. It's a heavier plastic. You can use it for covering tables. So draw your feathers out and you keep erasing them until you get a good, what you like. To fill that area up. And there you go. Now this one here, the reason I had that feather going that way is because this area is slanting towards that direction. This one slants this way. So I would bring up and go in this direction. Now this one, it's kind of got this happening. So I would bring this one up and have my feather curling in, but it's too long to go all the way over to here. So when I have these built in here, all I do is come off of one feather and just put a loop up, and I'll build the next feather off of there, because these will come up as I'm turning that corner. And so I'll come off of one of these lines here to bring up that feather. And then I'll just build on it. And when you're doing Judy Niemeyer quilts, unless you got a computerized machine and have bought the pattern to do them, they're kind of daunting. There's a lot of work that goes into them, and you don't want to just do anything in there. So it takes a bit of thinking and planning, and a lot of times for me, the quilt has to talk to me. I can't just start stitching. And sometimes I'll get an idea in my head, and that is not what I end up putting on there. Because when I get sewing, I always blame it on my machine, and I call him Brutus. I blame it on him that for some reason he seems to know a better design than what I had in my head. That's my story. and I'm going to stick to that story. But anyway, that's one way to mark your quilt. Now, when I go and transfer this on, what I could do, once I have a pattern that I really, really like and a design I really like, and if I'm still not 100% sure, I can take this to the back of the quilt and use my laser light to follow my stitching and use it like a pantograph. Just make sure that you've got everything lined up, all your corners and everything lined up, so that when you start to stitch, you are within that designated area. That's one way to put patterns onto your quilts. Okay, so I'm going to put my marks on here with my chalk pencil, and these are approximations. Like I said before, Brutus sometimes has a mind of his own. And that's just an approximate. This one here is the same. And this one, of course, is going to go this way because of the angle. So, and this one, we're going to come up and do that. So I don't know if you can really see those, but that's where I'm going to quilt. Here's where I'm going to backtrack and come up that feather stitch and up and into the corner. And there you have it. That's how I divided and conquered that area. The next video I'll do on how I measure for my border design and how I put it in there. And then I'll show you more, because there's some big areas here that I haven't even figured out what I'm going to do in there. Maybe Brutus will tell me. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a dream. It's amazing how the designs come to a person. And once you get into it, You see quilting designs, the stitching patterns in many different places. Keep your notebook handy and sketch them out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video today, and remember to like, comment, subscribe, and if you don't know what to put in the comment section, just put LCS. It stands for like, comment, subscribe, and share, and it helps the algorithms with YouTube. And yeah, share the video on, if you like to, with your friends on Facebook or Instagram or wherever. It all helps us. So I'll show you a bit of what Dave's up to. He's building tables that the ladies will be setting their machines on. They're pretty solid tables. He's busy varathaning. He's got 2 tables up there, and he's varathaning the legs. Say hi.
Hi.
And that's how the table goes together. And then you can hang on to that round rod and carry it. And to open it up and set it up, just like that.
It's new and stiff.
Yeah, it's got to get broke in.
There.
And pull the chair up and sit down so they can kind of see.
There's a chair right there.
You can kind of see the height. And I mean, he's taller than most, so. But there. It's about the right height. You can use it.
Sewing machine table is about here.
Yep. Yeah. So for a sewing machine, it's perfect.
Sewing machine sits in there. You sit there.
That's, yeah, fairly sturdy. I don't think it shakes too much. And another great use for it is
Camping.
a camper table.
Yes, it folds down. Well, you got 1 1/4 inch and 1.5 inches. It's about right around 3 inches thick.
Yeah, so it folds away.
2 inches high.
Yeah, folds away really nicely.
And the top surface is 24 inches, 32 inches.
Yeah, so just a nice size. Anyway, thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
That's what he's been out in the shop working on.
Yeah, one of the things.
One of the things. He's a busy man out there. Anyway.
Talk to you later.
Stay real, and bye for now.